Is there anything that you think would surprise people about Iowan politics? Anything that people don't know about Iowa?
Yeah, I think a socialist could win a major seat here in Iowa if they started speaking to working class folks, and I think that they could probably get a large portion of conservative or libertarian or right wing voters behind it, because on both sides of the aisle, whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats, I mean, it's obvious the main source of the GDP here in Iowa is agriculture, yet neither major party tackles the very pressing issues that the agricultural industry is facing. You have Republicans that say we need to keep free trade open. You've got Democrats who say we need to save the family farm. Well, what the hell is the family farm, Democrats? What real plan do you have to revitalize rural America? None of these issues are actually addressed. It's a lot of doublespeak. It's a lot of platitudes. People are sick of platitudes. People are losing their farms. People are coming to an age, ever increasing age of the farmer, where they quite literally don't know what to do, and no one is reaching out to them and providing that kind of assistance and support. But, farmers, even rich farmers, they see the negative impact on the environment that is caused by these multinational corporations that come in and start controlling the land. They don't care about polluting our waters because they don't live here. In the county just north of me, 7 out of 11 of the wells are not potable. The farm wells
Wow.
to provide people with drinking water, you can't drink it because it's so polluted. In Iowa, we're pretty good at soil retention. We're only responsible for about 5% of the soil that erodes into the Mississippi River. But because our soil is so super concentrated with these chemicals that we spray on this Monsanto corn that just cannot survive without all this extra assistance, we're responsible for 25% of the nitrogen and the phosphorus that goes into the Mississippi River, flows down to the Gulf of Mexico, contributes to the algae blooms, and kills off our sea life population. So these older folks, they are not blind to that. They understand the environmental impacts of this because they live here, they drink this water, they eat this food, but nobody's reaching out to them for any real answers. I think if someone came with answers like Senator Sanders did, he had a fantastic rural revitalization policy that was extremely comprehensive because it was written by Iowans. And I think that if someone came and spoke to the issues of working class Iowans, we could win some real progressive seats here in our government.
There's probably people on the political right. There's probably self-identified Republicans who are aware of all these issues you're talking about, David, and could be reached if someone would actually speak to these things.
No, absolutely. Someone just has to speak to them. I would go out, and when I build door knocking lists, I purposefully built Republicans into my door knocking list because they're my neighbors. I got the privilege of organizing my community that I grew up in my entire life. And I would go knock Republicans' doors. People would recognize me. People would know me. And they would quite literally, almost everyone, they said that they would vote for Bernie Sanders over Donald Trump.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was also, like, back in 2008, I believe, Obama apparently kind of head faked a very robust policy for farmers there. And he went from being an unknown to winning Iowa and suddenly being in the running for winning the whole thing because he went to Iowa and spoke to those issues. And I'm looking at an article right here from the Des Moines Register from 2014 called Obama Promise is Unfulfilled. Like, he spoke to these issues, I think, that you're talking about, specifically the way federal aid is distributed and how that actually promotes more corporate farms and actually pushes out family farms, smaller farms even more. And he knew these sort of granular issues and spoke to them effectively and sort of came out of left field in Iowa and just said, okay, thank you very much for the votes, and then did nothing for them afterwards.
You're 100% right. And like I said, with the political homelessness, a lot of these folks in Iowa, it's deep family community ties. A lot of that is attributed just inherently to Republican values. And so they find themselves siding with the Republican Party because it's who their parents always sided with. And the Democratic Party has become a caucus of concession. I'm a labor leftist, plain and simple. Labor is my thing. Do I make mistakes sometimes when it comes around identity? Absolutely. But the thing with a lot of liberals in the Democratic Party is that they will attack you if you don't conform immediately. It's a learning curve for a lot of us folks. And it seems like I see the Democratic Party and those that kind of encircle that nebula as an Ouroboros, the snake that ate its tail. And that's all that we are on the left, is we're the snake that eats its tail. And the Democratic Party is the one that's driving that self-consumption. If we can cut the head off of that snake, I think the leftist wing of our constituents can definitely thrive.